I'm Ramesh Patel, Managing Director at BHL Pharmaceuticals Limited.
So what have you brought here today?
Today we have brought the world's first HbA1c test that can be done at home, licensed for home use, and it can be done in 5 minutes. This is accurate as a lab system, and we're hoping that it be used in a Motivate Remission program.
So just tell us a little bit about HbA1c.
HbA1c is the long-term control of diabetes. It's the result of glucose binding to hemoglobin molecules in the blood. Blood has 3 months on average life in the body, and so therefore your HbA1c only changes every 3 months, or between 2 and 3 months.
So people living with diabetes will normally have an HbA1c test every 6 to 12 months?
So brittle diabetics are supposed to have one every 3 months to 6 months, as you said, and type 2s probably once a year, but really they should be getting twice a year.
And those numbers that they get, can you explain how they work?
Yeah, so the guidelines from NICE recommend that anything below 42 millimoles is a good figure, and you're not a diabetic. Between 42 and 47, you are probably a pre-diabetic, and above 48, you are probably a diabetic and need a confirmation test.
So when people get those results and they say living with type 2 diabetes, what does the healthcare professional use that number for?
Idea is basically to start getting their numbers lower and lower to back down to 42 and below, so that people go into remission. And also the idea is to make sure that figures don't increase so that their diabetes doesn't get any worse than what it is.
And they can bring in different medications and different regimes, can't they?
Yes. So diabetics, type 2s, normally start on diet control, work up to metformin or other well-known drugs, and then move on to insulin if they're still not controlled.
And type 1s
type
will
1s always be on insulin.
And it's usually part of another test or two with your nurse or GP. They'll test your feet and other things, won't they?
For sure. They'll get their feet tested, they'll get their annual eye review for retinopathy. They'll also get their cholesterols done, and thyroid maybe if necessary.
Because sometimes people say, I haven't had a test, especially during COVID. It really kind of threw everything up in the air, didn't it?
It
so
did.
I think things are maybe starting to settle down. But I think people need to ask, don't they, if they haven't had a test, maybe within 12 months.
Very much so. And there is a backlog, and the surgeries are inundated. So it's an ideal time perhaps to look at something that you can afford and buy, and do it at home, or go to a pharmacy and they can do the test sometimes. They offer services like that, including cholesterol testing. Sometimes you can get it on the NHS health checks program, so that could be a possibility as well, out of hospitals, in surgeries or in pharmacy. So those are good sites to look at.
And if they wanted to buy it themselves from you, what would they do and how much would it be?
Yeah, so they can buy the HbA1c, A1C Now test online on www.bhr.co.uk, or they can go order it directly from people like diabetes.co.uk very soon, and they can certainly buy it through their pharmacy.
And what sort of price are we looking at?
We're looking at £78 plus VAT for a whole year's supply. So one test every 3 months, and that's £78. So it's very, very reasonable cost when you consider that patches cost about £50 for every 2 weeks.
So it's something they can do at home and share with their medical professional?
Yes, for sure. I wouldn't advise them to just take the result of the HbA1c. They need to look at the clinical conditions as well, and they need to obviously get help from their healthcare professional before doing anything stringent like changing medicine. Never do that. Maybe diet change or exercise, maybe that can be built into it, but not medicine change.
And what have you felt about coming here today? What's your impression been of the whole event?
It's certainly grown over the years that we've been attending, and there are a lot more people, a lot more knowledgeable people coming as well, and certainly the clinicians are doing their best to encourage training them and educating them. So hopefully we're part of that, the education part.
And do you have a top tip?
For diabetics?
Yeah.
I'm one of them, so perhaps don't follow my own advice. But best to keep the sugar levels down and smaller portions but more frequent.
Yeah.
That's my advice, I think.
Lovely.